Welcome to the first official review here at Not Your Mama's Gamer. This is Samantha Blackman, and tonight I am joined by Alex Lane. She and I are reviewing a game by RetroEpic Games called A Day in the Woods. And since this was kind of our first official requested review, we thought we'd take the time and do a video review. And we're going to make this a regular part of the Not Your Mama's Gamer kind of community blog podcast thing.
We're just trying to find another medium with which to find an excuse to play games constantly.
Yeah. So, and I think we're going to do probably a combination of video reviews and regular old text-based reviews. So we'll see how this goes. Alex and I are doing this review together because we both are kind of addicted to puzzle games, and we had to fight it out to see who was going to get to review it, so we decided to do it together.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started talking about Day in the Woods. Alex, what are your first kind of impressions of the game? How do you like it? What do you think?
My first impressions are positive. I think it's really engaging. As you can see on the video here, you're this fairy, and you're trying to help Little Red Riding Hood get to her grandma's, but of course there's all sorts of mishaps, and you can't find the grandma's for, 60 levels. And so it's really fun, and it's engaging in the way that like an Angry Birds is engaging. So you're sort of going through these more complex levels where you sort of have to think strategically and things like that. So that's sort of one of my first responses is, as I was playing through, thinking, wow, I haven't been this addicted since I played Angry Birds. So that was very positive. Also, the aesthetics of it are just beautiful, which is one of my biggest things for when I'm playing an indie game, and especially a puzzle game, because it can get really old quickly if the aesthetics aren't good. And this one is very lovely.
I mean, I totally and completely agree with you on the aesthetics thing. I think it is one of the prettiest puzzle games, kind of that I've played in a while. The more simple puzzle games, and we've been playing a lot of puzzle games lately. I think one of the things that it's got great sound as well, but one of the things that I really missed was kind of music. There's not any kind of music that plays on top of just the kind of sound effects. And that is totally understandable in terms of making the game smaller for download. But one of the things I kept thinking to myself as I was playing through this game was, wow, I would really love to have this game on my iPhone or my iPad. Because I'm a person who games like nonstop on one or the other of those when I am out and about. I can't get stopped at I won't say stopped at a stoplight, but I can't get stuck in a line at the supermarket or the doctor's office or anywhere without whipping out my phone and playing a game for a few minutes. And it would be perfect for that, to just play a quick level or two. And like Alex said, this is a fairly large game. It's got 60 levels, which is good. It's great for a puzzle game, especially since we've played some indie puzzle games and we've talked about them on the podcast in the last couple of months that were really basically one big level.
Right,
like Loom. Loom, and then it was over.
You're right.
Right? It's like once you get through what you think is the intro, it's like game over. And this is not that. You definitely get more bang for your buck.
Right.
And I should say this game is $4.99. It's currently available for Mac OS X and the Windows platform, and I think it's definitely worth the $4.99. I'd easily pay that for an iOS-based version of this game because it would definitely keep me engaged level by level. I don't know really how long I would continue to play this game, just going through level after level after level. On my actual computer or on a console.
Right, which was sort of one of the feelings I had about that too, is I was like feverishly playing, but I would never play it over and over, you know?
Yeah. I think I agree with you there. And so maybe it was kind of like, I think this would be something like if it were just to stay on the computer, I think it would be great for like Google Plus or Facebook, because there are a couple of puzzle games on Facebook. I mean, not on Facebook, gosh, on Google Plus that I'm playing that are just like this,
Right.
where you just play one level and then like you go back and just continue to do what you were doing. But I don't know that I would actually, play for an extended period of time if that weren't the case. I think one of the things that I really like about this game is that in addition to being kind of a cute puzzle game or a really pretty puzzle game, cute seems kind of, kind of condescending, but I think it is, but pretty or a beautiful puzzle game is that it is spatial puzzles that the levels get progressively more difficult. And I think that as you get further into the game, you're really required to think several steps in advance, right? So in ways like that, it's more than Bejeweled, which you can actually finish without lining up 5 or 6 or 7 gems of the same color. But this one, you really have to think several steps in advance just to finish the level. Because you have to work your way around obstacles that get progressively more difficult. It starts out by, here's a bear. You can't come within 1 square of the bear. And then here's fire. And the bear can't come within 1 square of the fire. And you can't go within 1 square of the bear, but you can go close to the fire. And then there's spiders. So there are all these different things that get added as the levels become progressively more difficult, which are challenging. And I think it is the thing that keeps you engaged and keeps you going, saying, okay, well, I want to see what's going on at the next level, because I barely made it out of that one alive. So, I mean, it's almost chess-like in that way. It really asks you to think, even though it could be seen by some as being just kind of a casual puzzle game. And that was really a big thing for me. I don't know. How did you feel about that, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I think... I think we know how I feel about casual as a label for games, but yeah, I think the way that it got progressively harder was spot on with how I want the game to progress. There were some levels I was super frustrated with, but then you get that good feeling when you pass it. Like at one point you run into a lumberjack that'll chop down trees for you, but he's also allergic to bees. But bees distract the bears, so you're sort of like... having to remember, I think chess is a really good analogy, because you're having to remember what each of these different squares do and where you have to go before you can move on to the next square that you need to, the next hexagon that you need to get to.
Right, and how you can use some of these barriers to your advantage.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
In order to help you reach, in order to help you kind of reach your end goal.
Right.
Right, and your end goal is there's several end goals here, right? One, you have to make it to the house that is on that board to see if your grandmother is there.
Right.
2, you have to collect various things, berries, flowers, berries and flowers, and what am I missing?
No, that's it.
Just berries and flowers, but different kinds of flowers sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to do it within a certain number of moves that are set as par for that board. So it really does require you to think about how many moves it's going to take to do things, and where you should place certain things in order to kind of best achieve your goals. And then it throws in the added difficulty of certain things you can't move. Right, you can't move
rocks and trees
and spiders. You can't move.
Right.
But you can move bears, and you can move the lumberjack and the bees, right? I'm trying to think.
Yep.
So you can move those things around, but they're things that you can't move. So it really requires you to really think. I mean, there were some boards that were really difficult.
Yeah.
And after playing them 10 or 12 times, I was really looking for a hint button, but there isn't one.
Right, a hint button I think would have been really helpful. Even if it was just... just a tiny hint to get you started in the right direction,
Right. Right. So, that would have been great. I mean, but that being said, I think, even though we're both kind of clamoring for a hint button, I think, we've still done what we needed to do,
right.
in the very end. Right. But a hint button would be nice. And then one of the things that I think would probably, be good as well, that I won't say would be good because this is not something we're saying that, oh, you can add these things to your
Right.
game. But things that I missed is I'm kind of and I've admitted this many times, an achievement whore.
Hmm.
I don't want necessarily achievements, but I need to know how other people are doing. Alex and I are quite competitive when it comes to games,
That
which
is
is a
very
lot of
true.
fun. And I wanted to know all the time how she was doing without calling her. So
Well, also, you like to make fun of me for how many hours I put into particular games, so
yes,
that would have been fun too. Like on a Steam platform, that would be fun.
that would be awesome on a Steam platform, or even if it was like if it were on iOS, then it could be hooked up
Right.
to Game Center, and you could see, what other people have done, what level they're on, how they've scored,
Right. Exactly.
etc. Um, and the scoring is another thing that was pretty interesting to me. I'm an achievement whore, but I don't like gimmies for my achievement. I like to earn them. Um, so it was always kind of pretty interesting for me to see how, in the end, what my score was. You got, X number of points. I can't remember exactly what they were for, completing at par. And then if you go over par, you don't get points. Yeah, but you also get stars. And you would get 1 star for getting the berries on the board,
Hmm.
1 star for getting the flowers on the board, and 1 star for completing at par. So, I mean, there was one level, and I am not afraid to admit this, that was a 75 par level that I got like 100. It took me like 158 moves to
Oh yeah.
complete,
Oh yeah.
and I was like absolutely astounded at the end. Well, after one or two drinks, it becomes more and more difficult to hit those par levels.
Oh yeah. That's
Um,
for sure.
but I was absolutely astounded that I actually got 2 out of 3 stars on that board, and I was like, that can't be right. Um, it's like maybe I'm kind of a masochist.
Right.
And I want to be punished for not completing my game at par, punished more
Sure.
than I
Sure.
was perhaps. But I thought that was pretty interesting. But then at the same time, I understand exactly how they're. I mean, I understand what they're doing with the scoring.
Yeah.
It just seemed kind of odd, to me
I had no
anyway.
problem getting stars, for even if it took me twice or 3 times as many, because I was like, yes, you give me those points. I worked hard for that. So, but I can definitely see what you're saying. That those thoughts crossed my mind as well.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. I think overall, I would give it a 4 out of 5. It, like I said, it's the type of game I would just try to get to the end as quickly as I could, but not play over and over. Not that. So it's engaging in like an addicting sense,
Hmm.
but not necessarily like a depth sense, a storyline sense. I'm not compelled in that way. I'm compelled in the spatial game part of it. So what do you think, Sam?
Well, I think you and I are pretty close, and I think that I'm kind of torn because of the platform choice. I think that
Mm,
with it being a PC game, I've come to have certain expectations about PC puzzle games. Even though they're more casual in nature, and one of the things that I really do expect is music. Um, but I'm big on good music in games. So I'm having a problem with a game that I'm playing right now. Um, and and I think that as a PC game for me, it's probably I'm torn between a 3.5 and a 4. But definitely this is a solid 4, if not better, if this were released on like on an iOS platform, because I would play this feverishly, probably for a really long time,
oh yeah,
if I had this on
it'd
my
be trouble.
phone. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I've been playing Angry Birds and Bejeweled for years on my phone,
Hmm.
and this would definitely join the ranks of that. I think so. I think that we're probably about on the same page here. That we're
I think
looking at
so.
a we're looking at a 3.5 or a 4, and I'd probably say a solid 4 for this game. I definitely say that this is something that you might really want to check out. There's a demo, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That you should at least check out the demo, see if you like it. If you like it, definitely buy the full version. It's $4.99. It'll be a solid $4.99 to keep you entertained for a while.
Oh, by far worth it.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for our first game review. That was a lot of fun. And once again, the game is A Day in the Woods by RetroEpic Games. And you can find them online at retroepic.com. And the game is available for both the Mac OS and the Windows platform. And in terms of full disclosure, we do have to admit that that while the game is well worth $4.99, we were given a review code for the game, so we didn't pay the $4.99. So I think that's it for the night. Thanks for tuning in for our first game review, and we hope to get them up on a regular basis. Please check back often.
That's right. Enjoy. Game on.
Game on.